we've done the colors, let's talk about what is called slide transition. Slide transition means when I'm in the changing the slides in the slideshow, how do I want to transition? Do I want it to come from the top, from the bottom, from the side? So if you go to the slideshow button, there is an option in there called slide transition. And on the right hand side you see there are these options that you can apply. I can say checkered across, and you see how it's changing on the left, checkered down, or horizontal, vertical, and the speed is fast. I can say, you know what, make it medium, or I can make it slow. Now you can add a sound to it. I didn't install this part, but you can add it. I don't recommend it because I do not recommend it if it's like a professional thing, because it will make a joke out of it. But for other reasons you can, for personal reasons and things like that, that's fine if you wanted to do that. And once you choose whatever slide you want, you can choose to apply to all the slides. So if I hit apply to all, it's always good to apply to all so that it's consistent. And I can go to slideshow, and now we see the slides are coming from the top. Okay. And anytime you wanted, you could right click on a slide and you can go to a slide, and you can also get pointer options like pens, and I can use it to do stuff. Right click, pointer options, and there are different points, and I can erase all ink. And you can even right click and pointer options, you can go back to arrow, you can right click, and you can even end a slide. And also within the screen there is an option called speaker notes, so you get your notes section if you wanted to remind yourself something. So right click during a presentation, you can use pointer options to highlight things, and you can use the screen and speaker notes, and you can even end show from here. So that's the transition part. Okay. And now the next thing I want to tell you is, say for example I have all these 1, 2, 3 points, 3 main points with some sub points, but I do not want all the points to come together. I want them to come one at a time. That is known as custom animation, which is under slideshow, custom animation. Now I've already clicked in the box. It's important to do that so that it will apply it to that. Otherwise it doesn't know what should I apply the custom animation to. I can click on add effects, entrance, and I can say fly in. So you see how it's coming in, and I can choose the speed again and the directions they're going to come from, and there are some other options you can look at. These two are the most common. I can click here, and there are also more options like effect timings, and I can choose the sounds. Again, be careful. Do I want all the animation to come all at once, by word or by letter? If you choose a letter, every letter is going to come one at a time, like M, A, I, N, rather than all at once. Word will be all the words coming together. So if you want to try the letter, and it's going to be painfully slow as each and every button comes. And I've seen PowerPoint presentation in college where people were doing that, and on top of that they were putting a sound on it, like a bullet sound, and it was just amazing to see that in action. So you can do that if you wanted to, or you can leave it like that. I'll just hit play just to see how it shows. So each thing will come as you click, and so point and the sub point will come. So wherever you want it to apply it, you have to click it, and then you have to click in the box and then apply it. Or if I hold the control key on the keyboard and I click on the second box, so both boxes are selected together, now I can apply the effects, or any of them. And there are more effects if you want it, and there are some other options you can look at if you wanted to. And I can say box. So because I highlighted both, it's already put it in that way. Let's say they all came together. Okay, I'm just going to hit undo, do it a little differently. I'll click on this box first, and I'll apply entrance box, and then I'll click on this and I'll apply entrance diamond. And if I hit play now, so that comes first, and now this will come afterwards. So you can see the text 1, text 2. You don't want it, you can right click on it and you can remove it. So this is called custom animation. It's just good because sometimes if you need to explain certain things, people would tend to read ahead of you rather than listening to you. So it's a good way to bring only the information you need to bring out. The next thing I want to show you is what is known as rehearse timings. So if I wanted to play my PowerPoint on its own so that I don't have to touch it, it will play on its own. So what you have to do is you go to slideshow and then rehearse timings, and you can decide how much time you need on each and every slide. Or you can use this, say you have a business where you want to make a PowerPoint presentation of something and you want to play it in your kiosk. You can actually set the timing of every few seconds, change the slide. For our exercise, I'm just going to give it maybe 1 or 2 seconds. So if I click the rehearse timings, I'll get this window and I'm going to start hitting next, give it 2 seconds, and next, 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 next. So I'm just trying to go through all the slides, giving it a few seconds. In reality, you would want to give it whatever you need. And it's asking me it's going to take 20 seconds. I click yes. Now, if you go to slideshow and you run your show, you will find that it will play the slide. You don't have to touch the mouse or hit anything. It will change after that time. And it brought me in the slide sorter, and you can see there is 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 2 seconds. So it is already listed underneath there. And if I wanted to change one of those timings, I can click on it, and I believe I can right click, and if I go to slide transition, there is the option there on the bottom. It says 0.2.1. I can change this to say 3, and make sure you don't hit apply to all, otherwise it will apply to all the slides. Only 3 seconds. I'll just click outside. Now we see that 2 seconds turn to 3. So you just click on it. If you don't see this window, you can just right click and you can go to slide transition, and you will be able to change the time for that 5.4 to something else. So this is called rehearse timing, and you can set up whatever time you want on it and it will do the job for you. The same way, you can also go to slideshow and you can rehearse your narration. So if you can take a microphone and you can record along with the slides your voice, so people will be able to hear it if you needed it. So you can try that if you wanted to. And if this was like for a kiosk where you wanted to run the PowerPoint on its own, you can go to slideshow, setup show, and you can tell it that, make it full screen, or this is running on its kiosk, so it will automatically run in a full screen. And you can tell it that loop until continuously until escape. So till the time you don't hit escape, it's going to keep on looping. So that's a pretty good feature. And you can also show, if you had a narration, you can say don't show with the narration, and you can choose these options. So if you do that, your PowerPoint will keep on looping. It will not stop unless you hit the escape key. And because we've already set the rehearse timing, it will change the slides automatically. Okay. If you need it, you can click OK to that. I'm not going to do that. And under slideshow, there's also an option called custom shows. So what you can do in the custom show is I can create a new custom show, give it a name, and I can now, from my 8 slides, I can say, you know what, I want to start with this slide first, then the summary slide, but then I want the computer skills slide, and then I want slide 6, I want the chart, and then I want the penguins, and then I want the summary slide. So I've rearranged my slide in a different way, and it's called custom show 1. I click OK. I can close this. If I ever wanted to run this custom show, I can go back to slideshow, custom show, and I can click show. So it will play my show in the order that I created, the new one, and I can go back to edit and edit it. So custom show. Now I just want to talk about some few things with save as. So if I go to file, save as, which is good if you wanted to save this file as a new file name so that your original file is not affected. And also on the bottom, as a save as type, you can save this file as, I'm just going to scroll down a little, as a PowerPoint show. If you ever received an email with a PowerPoint and you open it and it goes into a show right away, there's a good chance they saved it as a PowerPoint show. So when people open it, it will start showing your PowerPoint rather than people opening it in PowerPoint and then they have to start the PowerPoint presentation. So that's a good option. And also this is a good way to save it as a new file name. That's what the meaning of save as. You can also save this file as a web page if you wanted to. Now let's look at some options for printing. So under file, there are options for print. Now when you want to print, you can choose which printer you want to print to. You can choose whether you want to print all the slides, you want to print current slides, or you can choose the slides, like I can say 1, 2, 4 to 6. So you can put those type of things. These are also applicable in Word when you want to print different pages. And you see there is also an option to just print the custom show, so it will print it in the order of the custom show. You can choose how many copies do you want. Now this is the main thing, the thing which says print what. If you choose to print slides, it's going to print one slide per one page, which is a waste. So you can change this to handouts. Now you can choose how many handouts do you want on a page. 2, 3. They all something's wrong. I cannot choose. So 3, and you can put information here on the side, and you can always preview it to see what it looks like. You can also choose to print notes pages. That is, the slide is on the top and on the bottom will be the notes. If I hit preview, that's where it will look like. Notes will be on the bottom. Come back to file, print, and you can also choose to print outline view. Let me show you what an outline view looks like. Preview, it's just the outline. File, print, and even if you've chosen to print notes, you can change the color to pure black and white. Preview, so that it doesn't print the colors. So those are the printing options. So I believe I've finished all the important elements here. The only thing I want to talk about now is what is called slide master, and I'm going to show you how you can insert a sound in the background. So I'm going to come back to the normal view and say, for example, I have what do I do? This is my slide, which is title with the text. Now say if I had 20 of these slides, I had a 100 slide PowerPoint, and 20 of these slides were using this format, the format where I have a title on the top and I have some bullets point in one column. Now if I wanted to change the color up here, to make that change I'll have to go through 20 different slides. But instead you can go to the master slide, make a change in one place, and all the slides will change. So while you are on that slide, that format of the slide, you go to view, master, slide master, and here this is my main topic. I can highlight it and say I wanted to change the color. I can change the color. I'll make it something red. So that's changed. And so this is, if I highlight this and change this, it will change the main bullet. This is the sub bullet. So any changes you want. So if I highlight this, I can make this red. Okay. You can close the master view, or you can go to view and come back to normal. So you see the sub point automatically changed, and you'll find that it has changed in the sub points have changed everywhere, and all the titles have changed. And this is the big change. This is the big change in 2003 to 2007. In 2003, when I changed the title of one master slide, it changed it for all. In 2007, you get more options, but all the sub points are also red in color. So the master slide is a really good way to get your editing done faster and formatting done faster, rather than trying to do it one slide at a time. Now the next thing I want to show you how to insert a sound. So I'm going to go back to view, master, slide master, and I'll insert a movie sound from file. And I've just saved this file. I'll double click on it, and it's asking me, do you want it to play it automatically? I'll say yeah. And I'm gonna right click on it, and I'm going to go to, make sure I right click properly, yeah, and I want to edit action settings. I think this is fine, the action settings, I don't need to change anything. Right click, and I think I need to go to custom animation. So yeah, I have that custom animation here for the sound, and I need to make some changes here. So I'll click here, and I'll go to effect options, and I can tell it a couple of things. One thing I want to tell it is that timing, rewind when it is done playing. So if it was on loop, so it will continue playing. In the sound settings, I want to hide the icon, so that otherwise this symbol will be sitting on my slide. And I wanted to tell it to stop playing after, how many slides do I have? I think I have 8 slides. So I can make that, and I can click OK. So it's added. Now I can go to view, normal. It still shows up here, and let me see how many slides do I have. I've got 8 slides, perfect. So now if I go to slide show, view show, in few seconds it should start playing. I hope you can hear that. So you see, I'm not touching the mouse, it's changing everything on its own, and it's playing the sound. So whatever timings I've set, it's doing that. Okay, so I've hit escape. So that was under view, master, slide master, and there it was. I've inserted it using the sound option from file, and I right clicked on that object, went to custom animation. From the right hand corner, I choose effect options. I tell it to stop playing after how many slides, timing, rewind it if it's done playing, sound settings, I want it to hide it, and that's it. And just one more thing to remember when it comes to the sound, that if you're emailing it to somebody and if the sound file is big, you may have a problem, because by default I believe it only allows 100 kilobytes. So sometimes if the sound is bigger, a music file or 5 minutes PowerPoint, then you need to go to tools, options, under general, you need to increase the sound size to say 1000 KB or 2000 KB, which will be 2 megabytes if you wanted to use that. And here there is also the option for security, where you can have a password to open, password to modify. If you needed it, you could do that. And I can come back to normal. So that was PowerPoint for 2003 in a nutshell. I hope this was useful. Thank you for watching. You can right click and you can even end a slide. And also within the screen there is an option called speaker notes. So you get your notes section if you wanted to remind yourself something. So right click during a presentation. You can use pointer options to highlight things. and you can look to screen and speaker notes, and you can even end show from here. So now we've done the colors. Let's talk about what is called slide transition. Slide transition means when I'm in the changing the slides in the slideshow, how do I want to transition? Do I want it to come from the top, from the bottom, from the side? So if you go to the slideshow button, there is an option in there called slide transition. And on the right hand side, you see there are these options that you can apply. I can say checkered across, and you see how it's changing on the left, checkered down, or horizontal, vertical. And the speed is fast. I can say, you know what, make it medium, or I can make it slow. Now you can add a sound to it. I didn't install this part, but you can add it. I don't recommend it because I do not recommend it if it's like a professional thing, because it will make a joke out of it. But for other reasons, you can, for personal reasons and things like that. That's fine if you wanted to do that. And once you choose whatever slide you want, you can choose to apply to all the slides. So if I hit apply to all, it's always good to apply to all so that it's consistent. And I can go to slideshow, and now we see the slides are coming from the top. Okay. And anytime you wanted, you could right click on a slide and you can go to a slide, and you can also get pointer options like pens, and I can use it to do stuff. Right click, pointer options, and there are different points, and I can erase all ink. And you can even right click and pointer options, you can go back to arrow